many of you are familiar with the Rodale Institute out of the US. They're probably the leading authority on understanding organic agriculture. And they spent decades doing research and have clearly proven that if we shifted all of the agriculture of this world to an organic, sustainable way, there would be no global warming. We'd actually eradicate global warming. Because organic agriculture has this amazing ability to store carbon in the soil. And the soil actually can store up to 3 times more carbon than all the trees on this planet. So if we switch that, all agriculture to organic, we would take out somewhere about 40% of all the carbon that's in the atmosphere would get put back into the soil. So think about 40%. If we took out 40% of the carbon of the atmosphere, there is no global warming. It completely goes away. But I don't see any governments or any organizations making a shift or a push. Because there's no financial gain in it. And that's where we, as individuals, as communities, as this kind of collective, need to come together and start driving this kind of change. Start getting people to understand that, look, if we want to change the world, or we want to save the world, or we want to create a future for these little kids, then we need to come together. We need to create change. That change has to start with each and every one of us. If we wait for governments and corporations to make change, it's not going to happen. We've been waiting a long, long time. And for many of us, we just kind of handed over that responsibility to them. To make a difference in this world. To make a positive change. To make that impact. It's about us. It's about each and every one of us wanting to make that change. Willing to make that commitment. To see a world where we don't have to have these youngsters, our children, face disease and illness. Where we're not creating a world where we're running out of fresh water. Where we're losing species, by the thousands every day. Because this is not a world that anybody really wants. I've had the pleasure and the honor to go around the world and speak all over the world, and I've spoken in front of the United Nations and lots of other great international organizations. And I can tell you, no matter where I go in the world, we all want the exact same things in life. All of us. Everywhere around the world. Everybody's looking for peace, for love, for happiness, a world of compassion, a world where there's no wars, a world where there's no global warming. We all want the exact same things. So the question then becomes, if that's truly what we want, what are we doing? Where are we spending our time, our energy, our resources? What are we supporting every single day? And I've been down this path for a long, long time, and just to share you a quick personal story, this last Christmas that just went by, I spent my Christmas writing a eulogy for my father. And that really shifted my mind and kind of my efforts and endeavors a little bit more. Because in that moment, what I realized was, in our final days of our lives, we all imagined ourselves being there. We got just a few days left to live, or a few weeks. What is it that we'd want to do in those final moments? How many of us would want to go lock ourselves up in our mansions with our big screen TVs and spend our final days alone? Or how many of us want to go sit in the garage in our fancy car with the heated seats on and spend our last days there? Or how many of us are going to go to the bank and stand by and guard our big fat bank accounts that we created all our lives? None of us. Because those are not the things that we want to do. The things that we want to do are open our doors, have our last days spent with friends, with family, laughing, playing, crying. Because those are the things that are most important to us. And if that's truly what's most important to us, then why don't we start living like that today? Why don't we start putting our energy and our time into those things that are most important? Because I can tell you, when you start chasing all the other stuff, and there's not just anything wrong with having the money, the cars, the house, and all of those things. It's just that that's all going to come at the sacrifice of your health and the planet's health and the loved ones around you. And it's really not. It wasn't that long ago that Steve Jobs passed away. Does anybody here know how much money he left behind? All of it. He didn't take anything with him. And he accumulated more wealth than pretty much anybody alive today. He built the greatest technology company that we've ever seen. He changed people's lives in so many different ways. But nobody remembers him for his house or his car or his money. Because at the end of the day, none of that stuff really matters. So if we're going to make a shift in this world, then it should start with what we put into our body. If we're going to create a world that's healthier, that's brighter, then we need to shift what we're putting into our body. And it doesn't matter what you call yourself. It doesn't matter if you become a vegetarian or a vegan or a raw foodist. None of that stuff really matters. What really matters is that you understand that what you put in your body every single day is going to have an impact on the world far greater than we can actually imagine.